Hey, everybody. It's a beautiful Wednesday, March the 31st. It's National Tater Day. And it's time for the Wise Guys and Girl and Matt, sponsored by Zellers. The lowest price is the law. As always, let's get started with Sir and the weather.
Well, looking like a gray and wet Wednesday. Currently 8 degrees, working our way up to a high of 10 degrees under, well, actually, just clouds and a little bit of rain on its way. Sun will be out tomorrow, a little bit cooler, mind you, and Friday as well, but looking forward to a great long weekend.
Right on. Well, we're on a time budget, so we got to keep moving. If you're a fan of Spuds, and I am, National Tater Day is for you. I love this day a lot, King. This day recognizes all kinds of potatoes, which provide us with essential vitamins, minerals, and fiber. You know, they are quite versatile, which might explain why so many people like them. You got your boiled potatoes, your baked potatoes, scalloped potatoes, French fried potatoes, mashed potatoes, hash browns, dumplings, pancakes, so many great treats. Worldwide, there are more than 4,000 potato varieties and about as many flavors of potato chips. But let's shout out the hands-down winner, Miss Vicky's original recipe. It's the award-winning champion chip.
I beg to differ. I found one that was a Chardonnay salt and vinegar chip.
Oh,
when I was up in Ottawa.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
interesting.
I gotta pass Chardonnay. Anything but Chardonnay.
No, but honestly, the problem is I had to also launder my shirt because it spilt everywhere.
Oh, God.
Yeah, golly, gee whiz. You know, somebody spilt club soda the other day. I wonder if they were going to use red wine to get that statement. Okay, well,
all the other potatoes.
Speaking of potatoes, no, I'll wait till the end of the show. It is time for Tunes with Tamik. Tamik, what are we listening to today? Gotta be Mashed Potato Time by Dee Sharp.
Well, this has nothing to do with potatoes today. We're actually at the end of Women's History Month, and I haven't really mentioned it because I don't just celebrate women in the month of March. So anyway, but it is a good time just to kind of wind it up, March 31st. And I was actually looking at different sites that talk about like women producers in music or women writers in music, and you know, the top 100. And when you look at the top 100, when you just generally search for producers and writers, not a lot of women on the list, even though we have some phenomenal women producers and writers. And I came across a story about Aretha Franklin, and Aretha, you know, was like, wait a second. So she's, you know, this is probably in the 70s when she was getting into her career, but she wasn't quite at the apex, right? And she was working with her producers. I noticed what they were doing on her album, calling it production, and realizing she was doing the exact same thing, but not getting credit for it. So she talked to some people and she said, well, I do this, I do that, I arrange the music, I do the back, I choose all these details. And that's exactly what these other guys do, and they get called producers and I don't. So after she sort of made that assertion, she went ahead and every time that she had to negotiate a deal, she made sure she got production credits, just as she got all the other credits, writing credits, everything. And that sounds basic. It sounds like, well, why wouldn't you just be, you know, why wouldn't somebody just give you the credit for producing your song if you produced it? That's not what happened back then, which is probably why that list of women producers is so small. Not because women weren't producing their songs, but because they weren't being given credit for it. So props to Aretha for demanding that and getting what she deserves. And really, you know, people like Aretha really set a lot of the balls rolling for a lot of other women that are really powerful producers. Go and look it up. You'll see if you really look at it, there's a lot of women out there making music production, even in terms of the back end into, because now music is so digital, right? So even in the back end when it comes to making beats and those kinds of things, there's a girl called Wonder Girl that comes out of Canada, and she's worked with literally the greatest musicians. And she just come out a little, I think she's from Brampton too. Everybody seems to be from Brampton, but I want you to really think about when you're listening to music and when you're enjoying your artist. Like, are your artists really being given credit for the work that they do? And so, especially now in the streaming era when we're playing songs, people are getting credit for that music. People are getting credit for those songs. Recently, Anita Baker has actually asked that people stop streaming her songs because she's fighting to get the masters for her songs. And so she has said to her fans, you know what? I'm negotiating right now with the record company. I'm asking you to stop streaming my music so that I can get an advantage to negotiate getting the rights to my music. So it makes you really think about, there's so much politics behind it, but it starts with the creativity, of course, and so I always think about, the lives of the musicians that are sort of impacted when they're not giving credit where credit is due. So I just wanted to highlight that today. And of course, Aretha Franklin, the great Aretha Franklin, and the great Carole King combined to make one of the most incredible songs probably of all time, which is Natural Woman. So we're going to end off Women's History Month listening to Natural Woman. March 31st. Enjoy, everyone. And remember to also listen consciously. And that's my pick for today.
Yeah, you absolutely have us listening consciously. I read more lyrics now than I ever have, and it's changed my opinion about a lot of Aretha Franklin.
What is the underlying meaning of the mashed potato song?
We'll have to talk about that off screen, sir. Aretha Franklin, what an absolute legend. And let's bring it back to potatoes. She sang Respect on the Blues Brothers, which featured the lyric about the mashed potato dance. So, see, it does all tie in.
It all comes back full circle.
Oh, gosh. All right, it is time for Ventures with Venturo. Venturo, what have you got for us today?
It's Wednesday, so it's time for Wednesday's book. And today's book is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff, right? By Richard Carson. Very interesting read. One thing that came out to me is that he said that it's easy for us to get caught up in the irritations of life. We over-dramatize and overreact to life's myriad of tribulations. Under direct influence of anguish, our minds are bewildered, and we feel disoriented. This creates stress, which makes the problem more difficult to deal with. So that's when you keep stressing the small stuff, right? What are some of the recommendations that he makes, though? He says, let others have the glory sometimes. Let others be right most of the times. Become aware of your mood and don't allow yourself to be fooled by the low ones. Look beyond behavior. And one which was very insightful for me is resist the urge to criticize. So go check out that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff by Richard Carson.
By the way, you forgot to mention chapter 16, and that's don't worry about if your video in Teams freezes.
You look very pensive, Paul.
Always a thoughtful approach to every episode of The Wise Guys and Girl. And we look forward to Wednesday's Word coming up in just a few minutes. First, it is time for this week's edition of The Quiz, where our own Vice Principal Botnick and our special guest Matt Schulman, Quote Machine, compete together to earn a gift certificate to the Skillet Restaurant based on the number of points they accumulate. Matt, how are you doing today?
What's with all these questions? Are you a cop?
No, but I play one on TV. Well, points, as you know, are based on your response's accuracy, creativity, and how much they amuse the Wise Guys and Girl. Most points awarded if you can make Venturo laugh out loud. In my hand, I have 3 questions about potatoes, so keep your eyes on the prize. Don't be a couch potato. Get in there and give your best answers. Ring your, whatever it is you're going to ring. Don't be a spectator or a hesitator. Question number 1. Until the late 18th century, the French believed that potatoes caused what?
They believed that the potatoes would cause the monarchy to last forever. And then something happened that took away that belief.
It doesn't last forever?
Not in France.
Vice Principal Botnick.
So that is very interesting because I was watching an episode of Drunk History on Comedy Central, and I think the story went something like this. where a royal courtier said to Marie Antoinette, "The peasants are revolting." And Marie Antoinette said, "Oh, tell me about it. Look at what they are wearing." And then the courtier said, "But they don't have enough bread to eat." And then Marie Antoinette said, "Well, then let them eat cake. But they are very concerned about weight gain and tooth decay," said the royal courtier. Then Marie Antoinette said, "Well, why don't they try baking with potato starch? Tell them to get what they need from the community root cellar." So to make a long story short,
Too late.
or a short story long, the baker leading the hungry mob took a right instead of a left, refused to ask for directions, and ended up taking everyone to the Bastille rather than the community root cellar. And the rest, as they say, is drunk history.
I think there should be a point deduction for poor French.
Oh, it was perfect. Hey, what was the question anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll decide over lunch. Because it's time for it now.
Oh, golly. So, yeah, Tamik's got to go soon. Anyway.
Now I think she went to get an order of chips. She's gone.
All right, we got Matt with 100 points. We got Mark. We're going to go a word per point, so 500, and then minus the 50-point deduction for Beth. Let's see. The French believe potatoes cause leprosy. And bad accents, apparently.
It's an issue with the skin.
Good one, sir. Good one.
Thank you.
50 points.
Potato
All right.
skins. Thank you. I'm back.
Question 2. The potato is the 4th most important crop in the world. What are the top 3 crops? Vice Principal Botnick.
Actually, aren't these the Thursday shoutouts? Shoutouts
Played
to
right
the
into your head.
top 3 crops in the world: bumper, cash, and tops.
Oh, very creative. You fed right into that, sir. 500 points. Matt
Thanks, sir.
Schulman.
He forgot the Acropolis.
Ah, yeah.
Top of the
Very
list.
good. Inserting it.
No, that was fair. You missed Greek Day. Sorry. Move on.
Wheat, rice, and corn. Mark, you got the top 3. These would have to be 4, 5, and 6.
Thank you.
Wow. That totally caught me off guard. I was going to say coffee, tea, and the weed.
Oh, golly gee whiz. I love that use of the article "the" in front of weed. That's great. The weed.
Because he looked it up on the Google.
We'll put it on the Twitter later.
Sorry,
Okay.
that was top 3 for medicinal purposes only.
Along with Chardonnay chips. All right, question 3. Mr. Potato Head was born in 1952. He has a claim to fame as being the first what?
Oh, hang on. Time out. We're stopping this broadcast right now.
Matt Schulman.
I thought he was the first person to start a taxi service called Tuber.
Oh, nicely done.
Oh,
Nicely
yes.
done.
Oh, that's 350 points. That's good.
He kept us on air with that one.
Vice Principal Botnick.
Actually, he was the first talking vegetable in a major motion picture. Toy Story, 1995. Took him a while to get there, but
Very good.
Bring in the facts.
That's 400 points. The real answer is really close to that. He
Huh.
was the first toy to be advertised on television.
well, he was young. He needed the money.
And the first to officially retire, apparently.
I got a laugh out of Venturo. That's got to be worth another $1.25.
Yeah, another 125 points there. Okay. And Tamika's somewhere scratching her head and pretending she has a migraine for another 250.
No, she's putting on a new set of lips.
Oh, 100 points, sir. Holy crow. So we're up to carry the 2. $20 at the Skillet restaurant. We're going to eat like kings and queens this week. Well done, everybody.
Isn't that worth a plate of Chardonnay chips?
Oh, gosh. I would be confident saying nothing's worth a plate of Chardonnay chips.
Yeah, did you ever get concerned when your kids are playing with Mr. Potato Head and they like put the arm where the mouth is supposed to be and stuff like that? I start to get worried about their general dexterity, let alone problem solving, you know?
Looking at problems from different angles.
Remember when the biggest crisis in U.S. politics was when a vice president put an E at the end of the word?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, the scandal.
Yeah,
Simpler times.
yeah, no kidding.
Oh, no. All right, wise guys and girl, we reminisce. We bring back the olden days. And let's get to Wednesday's word.
Well, I always like to stay with the theme, but at the same time, I like to foreshadow upcoming events. And as we know, it is the Easter season, so I chose an appropriate word, and that is chipmunk. And of course, we all know what that is. That's the guy at the monastery that is in charge of the potatoes. Now, for the rest of the story, that's how they developed the franchise Burger Priest. So.
Ah, excellent. Keeping with two themes in one, sir. That's why you are our venerable leader. Well, that's it for us, everybody. Thanks to our fans and friends and odds and ends for listening. And as the tomatoes said to the potatoes, we'll catch up with you later. Have a great Wednesday. We are the wise guys and girl and Matt, leaving you smarter and happier than you were yesterday.